Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me is Raka Sudhakar garu, and we are going to start off with a bang. But before that, please like this video, and we're going to be talking about three topics. Two are mentioned in the overlay here on top. There's a third one that just emerged. We're going to be talking about that too. First, let's welcome the guest of the evening, Raka Sudhakar Rao. Raka garu, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Sir, Guruvar, we call Thursday Guruvar. Guruvar is Guru's time, PGurus time.
Sir, I am reminded of Kannada actor Rajkumar. He sang so well. He was a great actor, but he sang so well. There is a song he sang, Guruvara Bantamma, na 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 Raya Nagaradal. Something like that. It's a beautifully sung song, and I always remember him more for that singing than anything else. So, remembering Rajkumar, sir, something very interesting happened last night in Old City of Hyderabad. And we're just going to play this for you for a few seconds. You can take a look at it and give us your feedback if life is like this in the Old City at night. Let's take a look at the video, please.
Number one. Already देख लो पूरा देख ले बच्चा पूरा देख ले बच्चे कुछ भी नहीं है पूरा निकाल के बता क्या मोबाइल क्या हुआ दिया लाइट अंदर से होता
I think we can stop here. Raka garu, if I understand this correctly, it looks like there is night curfew in some places in Hyderabad.
No, not exactly night curfew. There are a couple of problems that crop up during the night. The first is riffraff elements gather at night and they sleep very late and they roam around in the streets creating a lot of nuisance. Particularly in the old city, this doesn't appear to be from the old city. But particularly in the old city, bike racing, then horse racing sometimes, they become, pastimes during the night and they create a lot of nuisance for the people. So police usually discourage people from taking up those adventurous activities. That is one. And secondly, late night, it is a norm in Hyderabad to actually frisk people well after 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, because that's the time when the second show of the movie is over, and post that time around 2:33, if undesirable element, normal people do not venture except for people like journalists or those who do night duties. So those will be frisked and people are asked to get into their homes. I think this must be one of those night rides that regularly happen in several parts of the city. You have both car-borne as well as motorcycle-borne, bike-borne police officers touring through the different areas, lanes and by-lanes of the city, because thefts are also quite possible during this period. The period from 2 to 4 is the period when most of the thefts happen. So that must be one of the night, the police must be driving away the people who were frequenting on the routes. That could be this, because the papers today did not report of any incident anywhere in the city, any crime related incident of this sort.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let's talk about a very important thing that took place yesterday. Pawan Kalyan, addressing his party cadres, praised the 𝗤𝙗𝙗 𝗖𝙗𝘆 and praised them for a lot of things: their discipline, their character, their dedication, their love for the country, and many other things. Sir, we'll talk about the context or read between the lines afterwards. Talk to us a little bit about the place, the time, what exactly did he say? Over to you, sir.
This was a party workers meeting about a couple of days ago in Vijayawada, where he was addressing the party workers in his Janasena office. And addressing them, he wanted these Karyakartas to imbibe the qualities of RSS workers. So Pawan Kalyan has been keeping in touch with RSS for quite some time, and RSS workers have been meeting him off and on. Several RSS affiliates also have connections to him. For example, he has a very huge farmhouse on the outskirts of the city where he tends cows. So the Grama Bharati wing, the rural development, Goseva wing of the RSS is said to be in touch with him, and also several RSS workers have been regularly in touch with him. So he has studied RSS, read the literature that the RSS has produced, and must have formed his opinion, because the full-time workers and the Karyakartas that he has met, I think they must have left a very lasting impression on Pawan Kalyan, and that could be the reason why he was specifically mentioning the, mind you, while he was speaking more of the working style and the dedication of the workers and less about the ideology per se. So more than ideology, speaking about ideology, he was talking about the dedication of the workers, the way they work at the grassroots levels, expecting nothing in return. I think these qualities he wanted the Janasainiks to imbibe, and that could be the context why he was referring to RSS. He was trying to motivate his workers to work selflessly without expecting much in return, because at one juncture he says RSS workers do a lot of things and expect nothing in return. Today he is the state organizing secretary, and tomorrow he's given some other responsibility. He simply packs his bags and leaves and becomes a normal worker. So he was referring to all these qualities, sterling qualities, no doubt, in the RSS workers. So I look at this as a sermon to the party workers, because Janasena as an organization is quite amorphous, driven by two factors: the emotionalism as well as the fan following for Pawan Kalyan. So Pawan Kalyan definitely appears to be trying to mold his party from an amorphous group of sentimental voters to a dedicated cadre, and that must be weighing in his mind. And second, another issue that I find is he now realizes that this is a great opportunity for him, because his success rate is stupendous. His fan following among the youth is enormous, and he knows that despite being in power, Telugu Desam party is on a clear downhill slope. Many Telugu Desam workers may not admit to this, because there is no second-rung leadership in Telugu Desam. After Chandrababu Naidu's able leadership, they do not have any matching, counterfoils within the party. So Pawan must be sensing some opportunity in the Telugu politics, particularly in the Andhra region. I think this factor must be weighing in his mind when he was exhorting his party workers to emulate the working style of RSS and the dedication of the RSS Karyakartas.
Thank you, sir. And there's also, I'm just reading between the lines here. Is Pawan Kalyan sort of a counterbalance to Chandrababu Naidu, so that the BJP doesn't, from the center at least, doesn't have to keep looking over their shoulder? Because Chandrababu Naidu is one of those people that I had joked that, in I don't know if we do it in Andhra, but I know for sure in Tamil there is a saying, if you don't tie a cat around your waist and look for good shakun, because if a cat crosses you, that is bad omen. So something like that, that, you know, Chandrababu Naidu is known for doing some very surprising things. I'm just wondering, is there a very quiet but effective counterbalancing going on there?
So Pawan Kalyan cannot be a political counterweight in the coalition as of now to Chandrababu Naidu. So Chandrababu Naidu is definitely powerful. He has more MP seats, and he is likely to have more Rajya Sabha seats in the days to come. He has a lot of MPs, MLAs in his city, which will be very useful for the upcoming presidential elections whenever it is held. So Chandrababu Naidu has his importance cannot be undermined. Pawan Kalyan barely has a couple of one MP or a couple of MPs, if I don't exactly remember, and his MLAs are significant, but they do not in any way alter the majority of Chandrababu Naidu. And as a politician also, Chandrababu is more consummate and more, astute when it comes to political moves, though he has repeatedly made mistakes at the national level, particularly by leaving BJP at the wrong time. But I do not think Chandrababu Naidu will resort to any kind of adventurism at this stage of his political career, because he is looking at party after him. So he has to nurture the new talent, and I think at this juncture, he may not really want to have a tiff with either Modi or with Pawan Kalyan. And from the way Chandrababu is conducting as of now, because you never know, Chandrababu is quite mercurial, but then I think this time Chandrababu is going to be very different. This is my gut feeling. And Pawan Kalyan, in no measure, can be a counterpoint to Chandrababu Naidu, because Chandrababu Naidu is Chandrababu Naidu. He has been around for over 40 years. He has become an MLA in 1978 or 79, and since then, except for one defeat in 83, he's an undefeated politician. And he has been one of the longest serving chief ministers of Andhra Undivided and the current Andhra Pradesh. So I personally feel Pawan Kalyan may not match the political astuteness of Chandrababu Naidu, but then, and he cannot also influence the TDP both in the assembly as well as the Lok Sabha. But then Pawan is a man to watch. He is growing and he has sensed an opportunity, and he is making smart moves. This much can be said about Pawan.
Sir, we have the quick snapshot of Pawan Kalyan's talk. Can you play that, please?
భారతీయ జనతా పార్టీ విధి విధానాలు చూసి చాలా నేర్చుకోవాలి మనం. ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్లో ఒక ఫ్లోట్ చేసిన ఒక పార్టీ అది. సంఘ్ నుంచి చాలామంది నాయకులు వచ్చి నిస్వార్థంగా చేసి వెళ్ళిపోతారు. వాళ్ళు గుర్తింపు కూడా ఉండదు. జనరల్ సెక్రటరీ అవుతారు, నెక్స్ట్ మినిట్లో వాళ్ళకి మళ్ళీ కార్యకర్తలు వెళ్ళిపోతారు. అఫ్ కోర్స్ దట్స్ అ గ్రేట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లైక్ ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్, కానీ దాని నుంచి స్ఫూర్తి తీసుకుంటాం మనం. వాళ్ళు ఎంతసేపు ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ ఎంతసేపు దేశం సమాజం దేశ సమగ్రత మీద ఉంటారు తప్ప.
Thank you. So basically he echoed what Raka Garu was saying, that we can draw inspiration from the way RSS operates. People even in positions of power, once they demit office, they go back to becoming karyakartas with no strings attached. So that's a very, very admirable quality that that RSS shakas have. One amazing stuff. And so on CBN, you said he has made a few mistakes. I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, that the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, NDA, preponed its elections by 6 months because of the advice of CBN, because he felt that he was going to lose Andhra Pradesh and he thought he had a better chance if he went to poll 6 months earlier. How true is this?
Yeah, many reporters were present at that time, and one of my close friends who has covered the event tells me that, Vajpayee was so disgusted with this proposal that he said, prepare for the worst, and he left for Delhi. That's what my reporter friend, who now occupies quite respectable positions in the state government echelons in Telangana and Andhra. He had in the past occupied several important positions. He tells me that Vajpayee was none too happy with this proposal, but this proposal came from Chandrababu Naidu, and he and some BJP leaders have impressed upon Advani, and Advani bought the idea, and the three leaders reportedly went to and Atalji and perhaps broached this subject, but Atalji wasn't interested. But then the majority in the party went by what Chandrababu Naidu said, and the result was there for all to see. The BJP had lost. One of the main reasons for is many people say it is Shining India campaign, but I do not understand how Shining India, an essentially English word, can influence essentially rural voters. This is a very good story cast by the opponents of the BJP, saying that the Shining India has done the BJP. But I think the extreme summer, the May month, must have had its effect, because I covered Vajpayee's program as a reporter in Rajahmundry, and the people were made to walk nearly 2 miles under the scorching sun and oppressive heat to get to the venue of the public meeting. It was so hot, and then so difficult for the audience to actually listen through a speech of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was well past his prime as a public speaker, but then the attendance was so low. On that day, the intelligence people and the others covering the event told me that this heat is going to do the BJP in all across the country, and that's what I personally feel. The heat is one of the main reasons, and this time also, since then we have been having elections only in May, and every time we are facing this issue of heat during which is affecting the polling in some way or the other.
Thank you, sir. Now let's take a look at what is happening in conversion in Andhra Pradesh. When Jagan Mohan Reddy was there, even though he may not have overtly supported it, many were saying that there was covert support from the government. And I have also mentioned a few things here and there. But now looks like the tide is turning, and the Ghar Wapsi program is also happening in a fairly successful way. Let us say that Ghar Wapsi happens. Talk to us a little bit about actual numbers. If 1,000 convert, how many convert back to Hinduism, and how do they stay Hindu after that? A few minutes on this, sir.
Yes, sir. The most important thing about conversion, I'm a student of this whole business of conversion. I have studied extensively. There is a book written by a person called Donald McGavran. Donald McGavran is an American evangelist who has specialized in church growth studies, and he had said that despite years of efforts, Christianity is only skin deep. This is the exact sentence that he has used. Despite years of effort, Christianity is only skin deep. This is what he said. So the biggest problem is many of them are Christians because the Hindus have stopped approaching them. Many of them are only marginal or nominal Christians. They attend the weekly sermons and all that, and then have the community feast and come home. But then they also worship the Yellamma, Pochamma, Nukalamma, and other village deities in equal measure, and they prefer to use lot of Hindu symbolism for their Christian worship also. For instance, in many places in Andhra Pradesh, the Catholic Christian churches, they promote the tonsuring of the head, like the way we do it in Tirupati. In Andhra,
Right, right.
and Telangana, tonsuring of head, offering your hair to the Lord is considered one form of worship that happens everywhere. And as a Hyderabadi, you are very well aware. So most Christian Catholics, particularly if you go to Gunadala in Vijayawada, if you go to Nirmala Mata somewhere in the Devarakonda area in West Godavari, there are other such places where the Christians also offer their hair. Much in the same way, they break the coconuts the way the Hindus do it. So the remnants of Hinduism have refused to leave them, or they refuse to abandon these practices. So what you see as Christianity is only skin deep. Only second or third generation Christians become, very deep Christians, proselytizing Christians, and the fanatic, Churchianists that they are. The first generation and those who have studied enough, they revert back. This is one trend that Donald McGavran, a very famous church growth scientist, has noted everywhere across the world, even in the Aborigine communities of Australia, Africa, and other places. The reversion, lot of practices creep in, acculturation and inculturation. These things happen. So reconversion is a very easy thing to happen, but the biggest hurdle all these days is that the workers involved in the 𝗤𝙬𝙤𝘀 work or the religious awakening kind of work, they have not approached these sections. Their work was essentially all these days was one of containment. So they were trying to contain the damage wrought by the proselytization. So they were trying to limit the conversion. They were trying to ensure that no new areas were encroached upon, no new communities were pried upon. So now I think for the last 7 or 8 years, I think even more than that, some 10 years at least, if I remember properly, 10 to 12 years, there has been an attempt to reach out to these sections, the vulnerable sections, reach to the core of these sections, approach them, and then tell them about the Hindu practices, and then remind them of their, earlier generations and what they used to do. And the reversions are happening in a fairly good number. And of course, they are not comparable to what the Christian missionaries do. I think in a year, more than 10 to 15,000 people are being brought back into Hindu Dharma through one organization that I know. It is known as Samarasata Seva Samiti, SSJ, Samarasata Seva Samiti. Now that has been, the name has been changed roughly. It is called now Dharma Jagran. This organization is singularly responsible for bringing more than 10,000 to 15,000 people almost every year for the past 7-8 years. And this number is quite significant considering the fact that the conversions have plateaued. Christian conversions have plateaued in Andhra Pradesh. So new converts are not happening. There are 3 ways you can get converts to Christianity. One is biological growth due to the birth of new Christians, people who are already Christian, the parents are Christian. The second one is conversion. The third one is basically for forced conversion, so on and so forth. So what I now see is the new conversions have literally plateaued. They are happening, but not on the same scale that they used to happen earlier. So we can safely assume that around 10 to 15,000 Hindus are coming back, and now it is a trickle. But I think this would soon become a deluge in Andhra Pradesh, because the Christianity there appears to be quite superficial, because whenever you organize a Hindu festival, the Christians organize a counter festival at the same place on the same time to ensure that their flock does not slip away. So, for example, there is 𝗤𝙗𝙘 𝗢𝘗𝑚 for Narasimha Temple in East Godavari district on the banks of the Bay of Bengal, on the shores of Bay of Bengal. That's the point where the river Godavari meets Bay of Bengal. So there is a Tirtham, there is a temple called Antarvedi, which is a Narasimha Swami temple. When the Narasimha Swami Tirtham or the temple festival happens, the missionaries also organize at some distance their own, Suvarta Kutamis and all these things, so that their flock does not actually get attracted to the Hindu festival. Similar kind of rituals are done there, and a lot of Hullabalu happens, and that's how they are doing. And you go to any major temple festival, you would find that at some distance, the Christians are organizing some festival or the other because they are afraid that if they leave their flock alone, they might slip away. So that's the kind of situation that we have in Andhra now, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. A couple of things I wanted to add. One of them will be the important question that you can answer, perhaps. First thing is, in 60s and 70s, I lived in Chennai. I used to go there for vacations. And we were not very far from where Sree N.T. Ramarao's house was. It was on a road, if I remember correctly, Habibullah Road in T Nagar, in Chennai.
It was Bazulla Road.
Bazulla Road, exactly. Habibullah is, I think, one of the parallel streets. I know, Bazulla Road. See, that is the place where most of the actors, movie stars, directors, everybody lived in that area because it was very close to the studios, which was in a place called Kodambakam. So, Bazulla, so you can see that people from rural Andhra, anywhere, Telangana, Andhra, anywhere, they'll charter a bus. That bus will first come to Tirupati. After doing their mundan and everything, from there they'll come to the ground Tirupati, Tirumala, Tirupati, and then they'll drive to Chennai, which is like 4 hours from there. They will come there, take the darshan of N.T. Ramarao. He'll come outside and he will wave his hand, and then the bus will go back to their native place. It used to be a traffic jam perennial. There will be like tens and tens of buses coming and going doing this. So I don't know where he had time to still, shoot movies, because it was amazing. They would wait for sometimes hours for him to come and show. So that was the first thing I wanted to. This is my childhood memories. The other thing I wanted to say was, see, this appointment or selection of J.D. Vance as the vice presidential candidate in the Trump ticket, and his wife, Usha Vs the fact that she's a practicing Hindu, it has drawn a lot of vitriol in the American press, American society also, I should say, on both left as well as on the right. Very unfortunate, but that's what it is. But I read a very interesting story. Perhaps you can expand on this. That Usha's parents migrated from, I think, Vizag or somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. Sir, you can set the story right. And there is one grandmother, sister of grandmother, something like that, 96 years old, still commutes 100 kilometers a day to teach. That story I found absolutely fantastic. Sir, over to you.
Yes, sir. First about NTR, sir, because NTR used to be my favorite actor till he founded the Telugu party. I used to watch all NTR's movies, especially the mythological movies. NTR was a highly disciplined man, sir. I think you would never get a more disciplined man than NTR in Indian film industry, not just Telugu industry. I remember one incident where he was to attend the shooting early in the morning in I think at 9 o'clock in Chennai or so. So he had to go. He had to catch a flight. So he thought after going, then again wearing the makeup to take 2 or 3 hours. So the producer would be put to a loss. So what NTR did was he sported the whole makeup of Lord Krishna, complete with kiritam and everything. He boarded the flight. He traveled that way, much to the amusement of all the other people traveling along with him. And then he directly went to the studio. There are many such stories of N.T. Ramarao's discipline, dedication, and he used to wake up around 2:30 in the morning, and he used to have a very tough, physical exercise regimen. And many people who worked with him while he was chief minister tell me that, but by 5 a.m. he would be done with his breakfast. and all the IAS officers were to report to him by 5 o'clock. Many of these IAS officers were not accustomed to this, and they found it quite a grueling kind of schedule that they have to do. But for NTR, it happened that way, and he always found time to greet his fans. He used to dedicate a specific time for his fans, greet them, meet them, talk to them. And also, whenever there was a natural calamity in Andhra Pradesh, particularly drought or floods or hurricanes, he would collect funds, raise funds, and donate for the Chief Minister's Relief Fund. And then he would enact plays, raise money, and that way NTR is a very remarkable, leader, actor, individual, and I don't think God will make any more NTRs. It's a very rare quality of an individual, and he's truly a remarkable individual, though I never voted for him since 1983, because I was a Jan Sangh voter at that time. Coming to the story about Usha Chilukuri. The Chilukuri clan hails from Krishna district, and they migrated to different parts of undivided Andhra Pradesh. Some family members in Hyderabad, some in Vizag, and some in different parts of other parts of the state. But it's a family of erudite, scholarly people, and many members of the family have carved a niche for themselves in academics, Vedic studies, and administration, also teaching, particularly teaching. So she is, her grandfather is Chilukuri Ramashastri. Ramashastri ji's brother is Chilukuri Subramanya Shastri. I have had the great fortune of working and interacting with Chilukuri Subramanya Shastri Garu. He was a state level functionary of the RSS, the undivided Andhra Pradesh, and he has foregone all kinds of pleasures, promotions, positions for the sake of the Hindu society. He did not even accept more PhDs. He did not accept higher positions in the academics, and he had worked extremely hard till the last breath for the organization. Chilukuri Subramanya Shastri Garu. I have had the great fortune of working with him, and Subramanya Shastri Garu is a great scholar of Telugu, but he rarely wrote. He's a great translator, but rarely translated, because he thought that all these activities would hinder his dedication to RSS. So that is the kind of man Subramanya Shastri is. He is the, I think, brother of the grandfather of Usha Chilukuri. More remarkable is Chilukuri Subramanya Shastri Garu's wife. Her name is Shantamma Garu. She is a professor of physics. While Subramanya Shastri Garu taught Telugu in Andhra University, she taught physics, and she's a remarkable professor of physics, a scientist. And one great thing is, even after retiring, she did not stop teaching people. So she's 96. She's all of 96 now, but still she goes to a college which is about 100 kilometers away. Every morning she leaves home at 7 o'clock, reaches the college by about, say, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, takes 1 or 2 classes, and then is available to the students to solve their problems, to address their issues, and then teaches the weaker students. And by evening she comes back, and she's undergoing this rigor at the age of 96. She's fairly active for 96, and she has not taken a leave. That's what I know. She has never taken a leave, and she continues to teach. I think she's a great example of dedication to the realm that she has chosen. She has taken physics as a subject, and she goes to a college or a university, a private university, that one of a former student runs. So this former student specifically requested her to come and teach his students. So she goes every week, and her dedication to teaching has been covered in Telugu media extensively over the years. I think at least 2 or 3 years ago, Inadu covered it, and a lot of newspapers covered it. And I have had the great fortune of meeting Shantamma Garu twice or thrice, twice in Visakhapatnam and once in the Kavadiguda region of Secunderabad. And I am mentioning the sub-region because you would be able to relate to Kavadiguda.
Sir, that's very close to where I used to live. Skandagiri.
Exactly. Skandagiri, yes. Kavadiguda and Skandagiri are almost adjoining places.
Right.
So Subramanya Shastri Garu and Shantamma Garu were a great couple. They, after retirement, both of them have donated their property to medical mission, Vivekananda medical mission that works among the disadvantaged tribal people in the North Andhra. They have an ambulance, and they have also constructed a 𝗼𝙗𝘍𝘗𝘗 Mandir in a place called Gudilova, which is about 40 or 45 kilometers away from Vizag city. There is a residential school there, and in the same premises, the 𝗼𝙗𝘍𝘗𝘗 Mandir they have constructed, and they have led a very pious, dedicated life. And Subbamma Garu to this day teaches. To this day, she teaches. That's the most remarkable thing about it. And I think Usha Vance, or if she goes on to become the vice president, the lady vice president of the US, I think it's not an honor to Shantamma Garu, but actually being Shantamma Garu's granddaughter is an honor for Usha Vance. That's how I look at it.
Yes, indeed, sir. And J.D. Vance certainly is a very promising politician. If you listen to him talk, he's a very good speaker, very good speaker. I've seen some of his speeches. So that is a strong.
His recent speech is a very hard-hitting one, where he said the first nuclear-armed Islamic country is not going to be Iran or Pakistan. It's going to be Britain, he said.
Yes,
after the
yes.
victory of Labour. It's a very hard-hitting statement and a very plain-speaking kind of a statement.
So we'll see how this plays out. In fact, Biden is down with COVID, so he's out of campaigning for a few days. So people are grumbling a lot that this is critical time, and this guy goes and gets COVID. What can you do? I mean, God says that you shall get COVID, he gets COVID. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. So thank you so much for recollecting memories of Usha Chilukuri's grand aunt, and we wish everyone the best. I think it doesn't matter who wins. The first lady, or the second lady, I should say, of United States is going to be Indian origin.
Indian origin. And what is surprising to me is that there is no opposition to Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But there is opposition to the Indian origin wife of Vance.
Yes. Well, these are all sleight of hand. This is all lies. You know that. These people don't even hide it anymore. That is the real sad part. So anyway, that investigation is coming along. It is looking like it was a deliberate attempt. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't want to pass judgment at this point of time. Raka Garu, we have a lot of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram. Could we see an improvement in road infrastructure with this new government in power? Also, there were a lot of wrong reports about happenings in Tirumala. Will all that change now?
Well, I think roads must improve, because except the national highways which are maintained and managed by the central government, all other roads are in extremely bad condition, and traveling in rural Andhra, particularly suburban Andhra, is a nightmarish experience. And I hope Chandrababu Naidu government pays immediate attention to these roads and rectifies the situation, fills the potholes, and not just filling of the potholes, perfunctory filling of potholes, but then real time and functional repairs are undertaken immediately. And I hope Chandrababu Naidu is one leader who understands the value of infrastructure. he has always believed in building infrastructure. He is credited with some of the biggest infrastructural advancements in the undivided Andhra Pradesh, particularly the cyber city, and then a lot of other areas that he has developed during his tenure. Given this background, I'm hopeful that Chandrababu Naidu will rectify. It is too soon because he's barely 2 months into governance, so it would take time for him to take stock of situation. As of now, what I see is he is trying to study each and every key department and is coming out with white papers, customary white papers, where he is now trying to give the picture of the position of various departments. And I think sooner than later he will take up the condition of goods. As far as Tirupati is concerned, a lot of improvement is needed. The staff members, particularly those who belong to the other religions but camouflage themselves as Hindus. They're practicing Christians who camouflage themselves as Hindus. There are a lot of such employees, and action was sought to be taken against them during the time of Chief Secretary 𝗼𝗚𝘅 but that was stopped. I think the present government immediately takes up this task and then sets the house in order. Earlier, people form a group and they write to the TTD EO or JO saying that we want to offer our services to the Lord for a period of 1 week, 10 days, and they used to be given immediate permission. But now there is a system of electronic picking of lots, so on and so forth, which is making all the more difficult for the devotees to come and offer their services to the Tirupati temple. So I think these things need to be rectified. The darshan should be made easier, and the ordinary bhakta devotee must be given primacy over all other things. So I think Chandrababu Naidu has in the past done many things for TTD. So I only hope, it's only 2 months, so we have to wait for some more time for him to rectify things. I think he has to appoint a new TTD chairperson and then get the new committee in place. A lot more needs to be done, and we have to wait for at least 2 or 3 more months for things to fall into place.
Next one, please. Yeah, so this is at the wedding, because somebody had asked this question. I just want to show that. Is Usha at risk of conversion? Is it love jihad? No, it is not. He's a practicing Catholic. She is Hindu, and they had what is called as interfaith marriage. What that means is you keep your religion, and they have 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. And in an interfaith marriage, they bring up their children to be both practicing Catholics and Hindus. You teach them the Gita as well as the Bible. So these are all things that are choices, and you can see there she is very traditionally dressed in Odyanam also she is wearing. I don't know if you noticed that. So I don't think there is any risk of her converting to Christianity, although Kamala did do that. Kamala Harris, in fact, walked away from her Hinduness a lot, which was very disappointing to many of us. Anyway, that's what it is. So we have to move on. Next question, please. Shyam Tarun, thank you so much for your donation. Srinivasa Vepacheddu wants to know, what is the impact of Brahminophobic regurgitated British poison spewed by Kanche Ialaiah? It is always 2nd or 3rd generation that become real Christians.
You're exactly right, sir. There is a process of Christianization. There are 2 parts to your question, sir. The first is about Christianity in the 2nd and 3rd generation. The second one is about the impact of Kanche Ialaiah. I would take the impact of Christianity first. There is a process of indoctrination that happens for practicing Christians over a period of time. Their metaphors are changed, the way they dress gets changed, the way they think gets changed, and the next generation gets changed completely, because they are completely at the disposal of the missionary apparatus. So this happens. So 2nd and 3rd generations own up the religion because they do not know any other religion. I have seen this happening in Northeast also, where I have worked for over a decade rather. I've seen this happening. The first generation people can be brought back, but the moment you become second and third generation, reversion becomes a very difficult thing. The success that the Samajik Samarastha Manch, that is the SSM that I spoke about, their success is mainly among those who have left Hinduism some 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even 30 years. They're yet to reach out to people who are second generation and third generation Christians. So reversion of the first generation is more likely, and the punaragaman of the earlier generation, those who are already second generation or third generation Christians, there are of course fourth or fifth generation Christians also in Andhra Pradesh, just as it is the case in Tamil Nadu also, because Christianity is almost 150 years old in both these South Indian states. I think bringing them needs more efforts and a stronger, a better strategy. This answers the first part. As for the second part, Kanche Ialaiah is now a spent force. His words do not really carry much impact among the backward communities and the scheduled castes of Andhra Pradesh, because these communities are in a state of flux. The communities, particularly those influenced by the Ambedkarite, Christian, and left ideologies, are in a state of flux. They are looking for new idols. They are looking for new icons to actually look at. So Kanche Ialaiah is past his prime, and Kanche Ialaiah's books, though they claim they are bestsellers, he has not come out with new books, and his public appearances have become rarer, and on several fora which are dominated by the OBCs, he has been strongly questioned by the people from those communities, OBCs, STs, about some of his comments. So he had to beat hasty retreat on many occasions. But then, as I said, the Dalit community, the SC, ST, and these communities are constantly looking for new icons, and lot of movements are taking place in the Dalit community. For instance, there is a movement of Visharadan Maharaj. Not much attention has been paid to this movement. Visharadan Maharaj actually goes to the Madiga colonies and tells them that you are Maharajas, call yourselves Maharajas. It's an attempt at inculcating pride about your Madiganess, which is a good thing. So his movement, we need to look at his movement, how it pans out, and then the BSP tried to raise its head for a second time. Now the party has now got merged into the BRS, and its biggest icon is now a defeated MP candidate, RS Praveen Kumar, a former IPS officer. So that way, the Dalit community and the tribal communities are looking for new icons, and Kanche Ialaiah is he's a pay by date kind of icon for Dalits as of now.
So speaking of RS Praveen Kumar, is he like a contemporary of Annamalai, and is he helping the Congress party now with the speeches and things like that?
Not exactly, sir, because he actually was from the ultra Dalit movements, which wanted to annihilate Hinduism, and he was actually caught on tape administering a pledge that they would renounce Hinduism, they would destroy Hinduism, they would remove all these idols of Rama, Krishna, so on and so forth. He was caught while administering that pledge to the Dalit groups, young Dalit groups. So he basically is more than Mayawati. He's of this what should I say, the 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙀 and this the US, I'm forgetting his name.
Graham.
All those, sir?
Father Graham, I don't remember what Graham is. Bob Graham or something. Billy Graham.
So he falls into this category, and he has fought against the Congress candidate in the last elections. He merged BSP into BRS, and he contested as a BRS candidate from Nagar Kurnool, and I think he stood third. BJP stood second, and he stood third. So I think that's the end of RS Praveen's brand of politics. He cannot go back to Dalit movement now. And same way, he cannot revive BSP or any other Dalit formulation and get achieve some kind of credibility. BRS is now going down the hill, and Congress doesn't have a space for him, and BJP is an anathema for him. So I think that's kind of he's finding himself in a bind, and more than helping Congress, he has isolated himself politically and otherwise.
Next question, please. Pradeep Tumati wants to know, Protestants homemade don't even accept prasadam from the house they work at. Is anything changing on this front?
No, nothing much. Nothing much. It doesn't change. Even Catholics, I think they've sport the kumkum and all these things, but I have not known Catholics to be accepting of prasadams, at least. So the Christians, those who are diehard Christians, are those who are deeply into the missionary practices, are under the influence of evangelists, pastors particularly. I think they would not accept prasadam.
Next one, please. Karthik Vishwanathan wants to know, what about churches very close to temples like Tiruppuram Kundram Lord Murugan Temple?
Well, that is a question that people from Tamil Nadu should answer. But even in Andhra Pradesh, there are a lot of churches close to temples, and there are clear guidelines as to the places where churches should be constructed. But then, there are successive governments have followed them more in violation than in practice. That is the biggest problem in Andhra Pradesh. There are several temples where churches are close by. Of course, masjids are also close by in some places. For example, in 𝗤𝙗𝗎𝗓 and Secunderabad, you have temple and masjid coexisting side by side without much problem. Of course, that's a good thing. Secunderabad railway station, the moment you come out of Secunderabad railway station, you have a Ganesh temple and you have a masjid existing side by side. And there has never been much problem on this front. And same way, 𝗤𝙗𝗎𝗓, despite Old City being a communal tinderbox, there has never been any clash in this 𝗤𝙗𝗎𝗓 area that I know of. So churches, there are many churches in the vicinity of. There are clear guidelines actually where churches should be formed, how they have to obtain permission from the local populations if they want to construct a temple in a residential locality. So all these guidelines need to be followed. District collector's permission needs to be obtained, and the local communities nod needs to be taken. But I think there is lack of awareness among the Hindu community about their rights on this score, one. And the officials conveniently gloss over all these things. And this has happened not just during YSR CP, but this happened, earlier also during the Congress regimes, the TDP regimes. Because of the vote bank politics, every party has pandered to them, and they constructed several such churches close to the temples. And once it is constructed and once it is consecrated, it becomes a fait accompli and becomes very difficult to remove. But I think when in the formative stage itself, complaints can be raised. There are procedures which there is an organization called Legal Rights Protection Forum in Hyderabad, which is actually sensitizing people about their rights. What to do when churches sprout up in their midst in residential localities, and what kind of regulations that should be followed for constructing a church in a predominantly Hindu locality? And should there be churches in the function halls? All these questions, the Legal Rights Protection Forum is trying to sensitize people.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Maithili Tarun Rao wants to know, sir, do you think that private companies are interested in Andhra Pradesh provided the kind of extortion Jagan and co did?
Sir, as far as private industries are concerned, they find Hyderabad more lucrative. Hyderabad and its surroundings more lucrative because there is an international airport. There is Hyderabad is centrally located, well connected, and then there are a lot of advantages. There is a lot of land available in Hyderabad's vicinity. You can go as far as up to 𝗒𝙗𝙬𝗍𝙬, Jogipet, or in your towards Medak, and you can go almost into the Narsapur forest. You can go into Patancheru and beyond. Same way you have this 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆 and beyond. There are lands available. So for someone to come and invest, a sort of infrastructure is already available in Hyderabad, and unfortunately, in case of Andhra Pradesh, over the years, that I think from the time Telugu Desam was formed, the focus was always on Hyderabad. So, because the focus was on developing Hyderabad as the hub of United Andhra Pradesh, there has been a neglect of these regions, the coastal regions, despite having coastal connectivity, despite having the Grand Trunk Route, despite being the rice bowl of South India. So industries haven't come up, and there are very few industries. Some mica industries, and some in Nellore region, and some public sector undertakings in the nearby Visakhapatnam, mainly because of the Visakha port, the facility that the Visakha port offers. But the other regions, there are not many factories. So this is it's going to take a lot of time, and a lot more of infrastructure is needed. For instance, the central region of coastal Andhra is Vijayawada. Vijayawada is a very interesting town. It is hemmed on all sides by either hills or by Krishna River itself. The town itself is cleaved into three canals: Rivers Canal, Bandar Canal, and the Elur Canal. And then there are two major roads, the Bandar Road as well as the Elur Road. So where is the scope for the city to develop? You have to go as far up to Gannavaram or beyond, and or Gollapudi and Ibrahimpatnam and beyond for setting up of industries. And this is one place where you have a reasonably good airport, air connectivity, which is likely to become an international airport in times to come. So I think it takes a lot more infrastructure and a lot more industry-friendly initiatives. Of course, Jagan did not do anything to set up industries. He did undertake one or two, vibrant Gujarat clones in Vizag, but then they did not really yield anything much. I think Chandrababu Naidu is known to get industries, but in his first tenure, he failed to get anything except Kia. And I think one or two SIDS, special economic zones, one in near Tirupati, the other one close to Kakinada and Vizag and others. But I think even he needs to do a lot more to get industries to Andhra region. And one of the biggest problems that Andhra faces today is the migration of the human capital. All educated Andhra youths are now either going to Pune, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, or US. So because of this, I think one needs software, and then one needs computer-based as well as hard, infrastructure-based industries in Andhra very quickly to arrest this flight of human capital from Andhra. Andhra's, I think, the biggest. You go to many villages, you would only find senior citizens. The young people are all working either in Chennai or Bangalore or Hyderabad. So I think this needs to change quickly, and I think Chandrababu should take up quick decisions on this score. His first term did not really yield much, and Jagan was a disaster of the first order. There's no doubt about it, and let's hope that Chandrababu Naidu does something. The opportunity that the people have provided.
Next one, please. Maithili wants to know, is it going to be Usha versus Kamala in your country? Maithili ji, I think so. Joe Biden still says that he is going to stay in the race, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Next one, please.
There's one interesting thing, sir. Unless there is Usha Kiranam, the Kamala cannot actually bloom.
Very true, very true, very true, very true. Srikanth Iyer wants to know, Raka Garu, by when will Telugu medium schools be restored in Andhra Pradesh?
So this is a very tricky question, sir. Telugu is an emotive issue, but parents no longer seem to be interested to send their children to Telugu medium schools. Today, there is no Telugu medium school in the private sector. That's the, take it from me. There is no Telugu medium private school anywhere in Andhra Pradesh. Telangana also, except for some Vedic Pathshalas run by dedicated organizations, there are no Telugu medium schools. So naturally, the parent, even a rickshawala, wants to send his son to an English medium school. So that being the case, I think the future of Telugu medium appears to be quite bleak in Andhra Pradesh, in the Telugu states. And what I now see is, recently I met a girl, hardly 6-year-old, and I asked him, "Em chaduvutunnavu," which in English means, "What are you studying?" The girl actually gave me a blank stare. She didn't understand a word of what I said. Then her grandparent had to tell her that, "Tell him which class are you studying." Then she said, "I'm studying in so-and-so school and so-and-so class." Saduvu means padana, to read or to get educated. The word Saduvu is getting mixed from the Telugu word. Saduvu is slowly slipping away from Telugu language, spoken Telugu language. So if this happens, you go to any home in rural Andhra today, koncham rice pettandi is the word they use. Koncham annam pettandi, konchamu. Nobody is saying, "Give me some anna." They're saying, "Give me some rice." And pulihora, which is the, I don't know, pulianna in Karnataka. The word that they use, they say yellow rice. So gradually, whether you like it or not, all this talk of pro Telugu medium schools is only emotional. No parent wants to send his ward to a Telugu medium school. And I can tell you from my experience, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh has been one organization that has been a stickler to Telugu language. The Vidya Bharati, Saraswati Vidya Mandir, which runs over 2,000 or 3,000 schools all across Andhra Pradesh, had seen admissions falling so drastically that they had to shift English to English medium. An organization that fought for Telugu culture, Telugu medium, Telugu language education, had to shift to there. Of course, they have both Telugu and English medium, both mediums in the same institution, and there are no admissions to the Telugu section, while the English section is bursting at its seams. So, I'm sorry, there is no interest in the parents. That's the biggest problem. It's not
Next
the
one,
government
please.
that is to be blamed, it is the parents that is to be blamed.
Very true, very true. Abhiram wants to know, sir, what do you think about few places that are changing, turning them into religious places by some, like Pinnapuram waterfalls, which is seen in Twitter? Is it true?
I am not aware of this, sir. I have to go back and check and then get back to you. Next
Sure.
time when I come, I will definitely give you an answer and try to give you some information about it, sir.
Rahul Basu, you are asking a question out of syllabus. Xi Jinping is dead. We don't know. Next
We don't
one,
know.
please.
We don't know. And he has been dead many times. He has been paralyzed many times. He had come back stronger. So there is a rumor going on, mainly because Jennifer Zheng, who's a China watcher, a Chinese woman who's now living in the US, she has recently tweeted that he has suffered paralytic stroke. And she said that he is not coming out. But earlier also they said he has been arrested last year, I think 2022 or 2023.
Yeah.
He was arrested, but at the end of it, he said he was only following the COVID protocol or quarantine protocol, came out, and 40 military generals have been thrown out of the military. So, you never know what is happening behind the bamboo curtains.
Next one, please. Manoj Soma wants to know, Sunil Deodhar had provided much needed support to local organizations to stop this conversion mafia. Sorry to say, sir, near Pancharamalu, one entire village has converted, changed name into Lord.
Yes, sir, you're right. There are many places that have changed their names, and there are some villages where the colonies have been renamed. And this happens because actually this has got less to do with religion, more to do with demography. Altering demography seems to be the numbers, seem to be the name of the game. So this happens all across the country. And the most famous case that shook up India in the 80s was when Meenakshipuram all of a sudden overnight became Rahmatnagar in Kanyakumari district.
Yeah.
So this keeps happening wherever the religion changes, numbers change, that critical mass is gathered. I think the name change is a natural corollary. And as for Sunil Deodhar, I think, is now taken upon himself another task. I think he is quite busy in the organizational work as far as I know, and he has done his bit for Andhra Pradesh. But I think Tripura and Andhra Pradesh are entirely different. The kind of political awareness in Andhra Pradesh is entirely different, and Andhra Pradesh is bigger both in size, population, political diversity, and scope. I think it needs more efforts in Andhra Pradesh. I think BJP or national forces need a bigger effort in Andhra Pradesh.
Last question, please. Murali Krishna wants to know, BJP ki Pawan oka spark anukovacha, sir?
Pawan Garu, thanks for asking the question, but I must first translate this into English for the benefit of the wider audience. He's asking me if Pawan Kalyan is a spark for the BJP to light up the political situation in Andhra Pradesh. That's what he broadly means. I think the answer is yes and no. Yes, because Pawan Kalyan is now a very powerful alternative voice in Telugu politics. And the Telugu politics, which was hemmed between or sandwiched between Congress or its variant YSRCP, Telugu Desam, I think has a respite now, has a relief now, and also an alternative now in the form of Pawan Kalyan, though it is too early to claim that way. Pawan has a long way to go. No, because I think the spark or the light of the BJP has to be BJP itself, not Pawan Kalyan. Unless BJP grows, BJP is currently the tail in Andhra Pradesh. Tail cannot wag the dog. So BJP has to grow organizationally. It has to create leaders, bring out the fighting qualities in the leaders, and then BJP has to create its own spark, its own ignition, its own accelerator, its own gear for growing into a powerful alternative in Andhra Pradesh. Of course, Pawan, as of now, is both a spark and not a spark.
Thank you so much, Raka Garu. And that was a wonderful session we had. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar. Bye.